Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Long Bangers in Association with Leeds Spirits. I'm May.
Hello, I'm Colin.
Good evening, I'm John.
How the devil are you both? John, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, it's been a good weekend. What about you?
It's been a fucking terrific weekend, I have to say. A thoroughly enjoyable one. One that I have enjoyed to the absolute maximum. Colin, how about you?
Aye, good. Run of the mill victory. Hibs can't stop. Not getting beat. Brilliant.
Aye. It's just this, didn't want to get carried away because there's a risk of falling into like the Aberdeen trap. Mind when they drew 2
Aye,
2 with Celtic and they thought they'd won the league.
yeah,
To be clear, we didn't think we've won the league and we didn't think we're going to win the league. In fact, but if you listen to us, we still question whether or not top six is in the balance. So there's no sign of us getting fucking carried away here. But it was
yeah.
fucking good fun. Um, right, Joe, let's get stuck right into it because it was a right like a fairly routine win in the end for Hibs. I mean, we've got a lot of talking points for fans and stuff that have got in touch with listeners and folk on Twitter. So um, we'll get to that in a wee second. Neil says, "Evening, chaps. Still bathing here in Rogers' tears." And Dan says, "Evening, all. High bees. Evening to you both." Um, Stevie said, "Evening, lads. What a win. Seeing them whinge about the ball being out of play just topped it off after seeing San Francesco lose also was glorious. That's quite good to San Francesco. Also saw somebody refer to them as the P45ers earlier on as well, which is which is fucking decent. Right, we're going to bring up the teams and we'll have a wee talk about that first of all. If I can remember where I've put the wee icon, why would I remember that? There we go. Right, so we had a couple of changes to the team, and it wasn't far off the one that we predicted. Right, so Smith was in goals, we had Miller in for Cadden, O'Hara, Boyle, Iredale, Nicky Cadden, Bowie, Mariah Welsh, who took Quan's place, Chantis, Campbell, and Rocky. John, what did you think when you saw the team?
It made me think of the conversation that we had on the Friday night about Miller replacing Cadden and whether the suggestion that he'd had a good game against Maida in the past, if that played into David Gray's thinking or not. But other than that, I looked at it and went, oh, that's just about the same as the team that I picked with Mariah Welsh in the middle. The only one that I got wrong was Miller.
Mhm. Colin, same question to you.
Pretty much the same. Like, I mean, obviously Levitt's not in the squad at all, so I think me and John had both picked Levitt and said we'd considered Mariah Welsh, but if that was the only pick to replace Levitt, wasn't it? Because Newell's
Mhm.
just back. I wouldn't have picked Miller, but we can't really argue it now, can we? Like, based on what happened. So I was okay with it, but I was surprised that Miller started ahead of Cadden.
Mhm. And Bowie got the start as well, which was the other one that we talked about on Friday.
Aye.
But I think we all said we would start him. I think so. It was good, and he got 60 minutes. You know, he went off just after the 60-minute
Mhm.
mark, pretty much as predicted as well. Um, I wasn't surprised to see Miller go in. I think I probably would have stuck with Chris Cadden if it was me choosing. Um, but like you say, can't argue with it. And Miller plays well against Celtic.
But
He's
you
pretty
did say
reliable
that.
in that fixture. Yeah.
That was why you were asking the question on Friday,
Mhm.
and I was a wee bit dismissive of it. But obviously, they do see it as an actual thing that it does nullify the boy
There
that
was
plays against.
a There was also a thing that I read in the Observer last week that said that it was something about his set piece XG, and I think if we scored something like 11 goals out of 14 for set pieces, and I wonder if Miller is was seen as maybe more of an aerial threat than Cadden.
Mm.
It was
Mm.
a wee bit of a calculated risk throwing him in there. I also thought because of Miller's athleticism, I wonder if he was maybe viewed because of the amount of running that we were going to have to do and because of the game plan that we had set out. If Miller was just kind of given the nod over Cadden, I don't think it was a slight on Cadden that he was dropped. I think it was a tactical move.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it definitely was. I think Miller's had joy against Maida before, and I
Yeah,
think he has been caught out like sort of switching off with Maida before in the past as well. But I don't think he really did that on yesterday. I think it was maybe one point Maida got in behind and he sort of had that diving header attempt that he then tried to turn into a penalty claim. Um, I mean, it's a bit of a dive, you know, when you look at
yeah,
it. Celtic are notorious for diving, um, and you know, obviously the referee didn't buy it, and VAR, you know, wouldn't have gone back to it as well because it was such like a sort of clear
Wasn't clear
dive.
and obvious. Yeah.
Aye.
Was they on their side yesterday? Was it?
Nah, VAR did not help Celtic at all yesterday. Not like the match officials actually on the field who gave them lots of advantages.
Trying.
The bench.
Can I just say before you take the I was just going to say the bench is so strong, isn't it?
Aye.
I
So
didn't realise that's where you were going with it. I thought you were going to just flash it away before I got to say it. But you look at that bench and you go, that's becoming more of a, you've got replacements there that you're willing to bring on almost. Where I think we've been at points this season that you're going, we'll just make the one or two subs because we've not got the bodies we're trusting enough to bring on.
Aye. I think the highlights are Ekpiteta and Newell coming back, isn't it? Like both after long injuries. So that was a welcome sign. And I wonder if we'll see them get some minutes on Wednesday night. So, John, talk me through your thoughts on the game overall.
Well, I didn't want to paint myself as some sort of like tactical genius or anything, but I think what I suggested on Friday was that we should play with our two fullbacks a wee bit deeper, like the way that we eventually went to play against Rangers in the 3-3 game. I thought, and like that was like, I don't think I spoke about it on Friday, but one of the things I was going to suggest was about game plans and being rigid and getting players when they had their opportunities, like taking them. Because I didn't think that we were going to get many opportunities, but the few that came our way, whether it was maybe for a set piece, for example, we had to take it. And I recalled as well the previous game at Celtic Park where, despite us not being at our best at the time, and I think we ended up losing, was it 3-0? We managed to create chances early doors, which is exactly what happened yesterday. And obviously we've gone on to get the second one. Like the second half, I think we started to tire a wee bit, which was perhaps understandable because some of the players that were out there that had been quite influential in the game, like Bowie and Mariah Welsh, haven't had much time recently. And when they went off, like you could see that they were pretty much out on their feet.
Aye.
And then the pressure obviously started to turn towards the end of the game. But I think that's something, I think this is going to maybe sound a wee bit bizarre, but one of the qualities that Hibs have had recently has been very, very difficult to beat. And the fact that we were ahead kind of made that that kind of transition towards the end of the game a bit better. Like they defended really, really well. Like there was some really outstanding stuff there. So like Bashiri, when he's sort of like, I don't know if I've never seen anyone sort of sprint hobble back onto the goal line. And then you had
it was John. Sorry, can I just butt in? See when he went out to shout at the ref for not giving the penalty, the limp to walk back out to shout at the ref as well. It was standing to the comedy value.
And obviously like Campbell coming in with the challenge they had to just make sure that danger was snuffed out. Like it was a really good performance. Like I've seen that for Hibs sides before, where especially when you're up against that sort of team like Celtic are a good team. And despite them not being at their best yesterday, we still had to be at our absolute best to make sure that we kind of nullified that and went on to win the game.
Colin, what were your overall thoughts on it?
I think just on one of John's points, the sports scene in between, but the wee bit we got talked about what we done in between them pandering it to Celtic was they mentioned how well coached the defence is. They were talking about Bashiri marshalling it, keeping the high line, how brave it is, and all that, and it obviously worked. But I think it was good. It was probably a good time to get them after their failure midweek with the losing the late goal and being tired. And well, I didn't think they would be tired, right? They're pandered to, aren't they? Like they get every whim, and it was Tuesday night to Saturday, but still, probably more the mental drain of losing a last minute goal in such a big game when it was in their hands, sort of thing. So I think it was a good time to get them for that point of view. And Josh Campbell mentioned it, the early goal. That's another one where you know when you're already maybe not feeling it as a team because you're mentally not there, and you lose the early goal and you're up against it. So I think we're solid. I mean, you look at the stats. I know folk dismiss the stats, but we just let them have the ball. Like we'll just defend. We're comfortable to defend. Have it. And with 25% possession, I seen somebody on Twitter like criticising a Celtic fan, obviously criticising Hibs about it. But like, it's clearly a tactic that we went have it. Like, we're comfortable. Most teams do it. We get it done to us all the time, even as a third force or one of the teams that want to be the third force sort of thing. That teams just go, fucking have the ball, you just break us down, and that's what we've done. And they couldn't. So I think the tactics were good. The defence was solid. We took our chances.
I think Rodgers had mentioned it when he was talking about the first half performance that they were rushing the final ball and all the rest of it. But I think that was because of how Hibs defended. I think we didn't really give them many options for a final ball. It was one of the things that I noticed that we did really well on Saturday that we hadn't done at all well against them previously, which was tracking runners and players handing off to other, like, you know how you hand off a player if you're marking them.
Yeah,
they did that so well. There was so many times. I think there was one point. I think it was Johnson. No, it wouldn't have been Johnson on the side. Maybe Maeda on the West Stand side, and Miller and O'Hora had sort of drifted inside, and he was standing out on his own. But they clocked it really, really quick, and it was really clever because they just sort of gave each other a wee quick shout, and then the problem was sorted out, and Celtic didn't have that overload anymore. I thought we were like so organised, and we do look like a very well coached team at the moment. I think that was one of the things Sportscene got right. Is Hibs do look like a well coached team, and that is absolute credit to David Gray and his coaching team. Stevie says, evening lads, what a win. Seeing them whinge about the ball being... Oh, I've sort of said that one already. Kenny says, evening chaps, Campbell was outstanding, but a shout out to Mariah Welsh. I want to speak a wee bit about Mariah Welsh as we go through, but we'll talk about the goals first. Haley said, if I took a step out the house, locked the door and caught it on camera, am I just guessing that I'm out the house? We'll talk. It's a good point, Haley. We'll talk a wee bit about guesswork in a little while, because I think that West Stand linesman needs to get criticised for some of the guesswork that he did through the game. Stevie says the best thing about the win was Josh Campbell's performance. I've always been a minority who rate Campbell highly. A lot of Hibs fans have slated him. Not me. I honestly think he's a very, very decent player. John McGlynn said, thought I'd had a midday cheese dream, but no, we actually beat Celtic Football Club, and the players that take the most flack stood out again. JC, Rocky, Miller, all outstanding. Moon the cabbage. Ronnie says, hey dudes. Tom says, first goal was a thing of beauty. Great team goal. Right, let's talk about that first goal then, John. It's a real team move. Starts with Rocky. Talk me through it. Do you remember it?
Oh, I remember it, and I remember it not just because I watched the instant replay however many times. It was beautiful, and actually, I don't think it's been talked about enough. Probably because it's been overshadowed by a fucking ball being out of play. But so it starts with Rocky, goes out to Hora's going down the line, and Bowie drops deep. And I think Bowie dropping deep and playing the ball inside just suddenly opens up. But you mentioned there Mariah Welsh, and I actually think that the pass that's as important as Chiantis's to Campbell's is Mariah Welsh's, because it's perfectly weighted. It's there for Chiantis to run onto it, and it's that fine margin where it's just far enough in front of the Celtic player that he's almost caught in two minds about whether he should try and stick a foot out. He's never reaching it.
Yeah.
And you just see it, like Chiantis is he's off running and McCowan's chasing his heels. And we've seen it for Chiantis before where he just slips in that beautiful ball to Campbell, and it's a really accomplished finish for Josh Campbell. Like, I don't think, like, Schmeichel's die for it, but he's not left with any chance, and it's just in the back of the net, and you're just kind of like, fuck me, like 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes in, and I've tweeted afterwards to say, fucking just the 88 minutes left to go. Because that's the thing that I do. I don't know if anyone else does this when they're at the football, but I think in the sort of the bigger games, especially, not just like, not just if it's Celtic or if it's Rangers or whatever, but if there's, like, when the points are really important in terms of like some of the things that we've talked about and what you're trying to achieve.
Yep.
Like, fuck, that's 88 minutes until 3 points. And then the second one goes in, I'm still thinking like, oh fuck, it's like another 45 minutes for stoppage until the end. But I loved the goal, loved Campbell's celebration. Like, it was something quite, I don't know, quite cocky about it.
Yeah.
That I really enjoyed. Because I don't think I wouldn't describe Josh Campbell as a cocky footballer, but I think they're starting to, I don't know, do you think the team and some of the individuals are starting to feel their oats a wee bit?
I thought it's a really good point that you make there, John. I thought it was a wee bit fuck you, we're no scared of you about it. So
the arrogance of it.
Campbell and Chiantis, I mean, they both shouted kind of, you see them going at the Celtic fans first, then over at the Hibs fans. And it was definitely like a wee bit it's like our fucking pitch, and we're not intimidated. and make it a game. And I thought that typified our play. It wasn't just the fact that we scored early and were able to celebrate like that. I thought we really took the game to Celtic and were on the front foot. I thought Celtic struggled with us for maybe the first 20 minutes of the game, because just after the goal we had the chance for Bowie.
Yeah.
Colin, we'll talk about Bowie a wee bit. What did you make of his performance?
Good. Can I say about the goal though?
Go ahead.
So when my first thought was, well, it's an easy ball to Campbell, right? But see, when you watch it back, the easy ball is probably out to Nicky Cadden, right?
Yeah.
But he's held on to it long enough. But the Celtic defence are drawn to Cadden, and Boyle makes that run over there, and the whole defence just moves. And McGregor watched. He didn't watch. He was lazy. He didn't. And I'm McGregor's. Well, no, his biggest fan, right? But I'm the biggest Hibs fan, the Fanny McGregor sort of thing. I think McGregor's brilliant, but yesterday he just let Campbell go, and he thought, I'll go to the ball when there was already two guys going to the ball. He was pretty lazy there, left Campbell in loads of space. He just drifted off him, and it was a good finish. But if having watched it back, I thought, the easy ball for Triantis is just to knock it out to Cadden, and that would have been the first instinct, I think. But if you watch the defence or drift and just leave a huge gap that McGregor doesn't fill.
Aye.
But it was good to see Bowie. I mean, the shot he had, it was a good save for Schmeichel, wasn't it? And he just he's strong, isn't he? I don't think Carter Vickers fancies, because mind it in the first game. Is that the first game of the season or the first home game of the season?
First home game, yeah, I think.
He ragdolled him in that game as well before he had his hamstring. I don't think. I think Carter Vickers sort of relishes playing against them.
No, I don't think he does at all. And Carter Vickers isn't a wee lad himself.
He's a strong lad, aye.
But Bowie absolutely relishes that. I think you're spot on what you're saying about that pass, by the way, Colin, because at the time I was screaming for him to knock it wide because it opened up, and you're like, fucking, this Cadden.
Aye. He was in acres, wasn't he? When you see it back.
Aye. When you see it back, you're also right. The fact that Cadden's there, Boyle's run is brilliant because it does totally open up the space, but it's actually really intelligent for Campbell as well to go, well, if I keep running here, I'm in. And
he shouted for it early, by the way.
Aye. And it's a really easy pass in the end. Like, at the time, I was like, "What a fucking pass that is!" It's just straightforward.
It had to go there.
Aye.
If he had given it, because he held on to it for that extra second, though, because the first instinct must have been just to bang it out to Cadden, because we've seen success with that. I think somebody said in one of your chats that was like the derby. It would have been like the goal in the derby. Aye. It was sweep it out to the left, and he swings it in, and Gale tapped it in. Or no, not quite. That's a bit harsh on Gale's finish, but you get what I mean. Whereas actually, by holding on to it for that fraction of a second and driving 10, 15 yards, whatever it was, just totally opened up. And as I say, McGregor's maybe getting too old and leggy because he just didn't fancy tracking Campbell.
And it was, John, like you said, a cracking finish for Campbell. It wasn't his only one. He scored just before half time as well. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll talk through the goals and then we'll go through the individual performances and get the talking points after that. Second goal, John, it's a bit of play out on the left-hand side. Our left, ball goes to Boyle, swings in across. It finds Josh Campbell.
I was watching this again earlier, and I saw that the move sort of starts with Cadden, and I think because normally Cadden goes down the outside, like touch and deliver sort of stuff, but I think he checks his run or comes inside, and then he plays in Boyle. And what you were saying earlier about the sort of defensive work about tracking runners, like I think there might be versatility on the pitch. Like players are able to, like if say Iredale's getting forward, for example, then Nicky Cadden drops in behind them for argument's sake. But you're also seeing that further up the pitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's creating an overload as such. I think it's just it must present doubt in the players' minds, like who the fuck, like Cadden and Boyle, like who the fuck's going to be swinging across in here? Because you wouldn't expect Boyle to be putting in a cross for the left hand side because we know that he's not footed. He's not left-footed, but he gets the ball, and the one thing that I really liked about it is that when he takes a touch and he rolls out from under his feet just to get it out, and then delivers the cross. And I think, like I've probably talked about the build-up about it enough, but Campbell's header and finish, I thought the thing about the two goals that was either really sloppy for Celtic or really good from our perspective was the amount of space that Campbell found himself in on both occasions. Because like the first finish, I think you could probably argue was a bit easier. The second one, it wasn't an easy header for him. He was having to stretch a wee bit. And when you're watching it and you see the flight of your ball, you're like, fuck me, that's in. That's gone in.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's obviously peeled away and he's fucking pointing at the linesman. There was not a chance, not a chance at all that he was offside. And then
Just
of course,
guessed. Boy, just guessed.
just guessed.
Mhm.
And I think the thing, like, I think you maybe talked about it, but there's an assumption that there seems to be an assumption amongst the officials, or certainly it seemed that way yesterday, that if a Hibs player finds himself in space, well, he must be offside. But if a Celtic player, if it's out of play, no, it can't be out of play, so we'll just award the goal.
Mhm.
It's a
There is that
complete
inherent-
reversal.
Matt, you said it earlier though on Twitter, and it's easier to give the decision. You get hounded. Like we've said it before. We said it in the cup final in COVID. You know, when Portchef's the big 2 hands on the back in front of us, or when it's as clear a penalty as you'll get. But it's the last minute. They're not giving it because they're thinking about their windies and spoiling Christmas. It's just not happening. And you can see why. We put a couple of tweets out and we get fucking hounded.
Mhm.
Because they're absolutely obsessed. And they can't see how much they are like Rangers. They're just the same. It's the exact same. It's when if you put anything out again, like look at the Rangers one. We got a draw against them, and it's all about the penalty. It's never about how well Hibs have done or what Hibs. It's all about how they've been hard done to. The two of them are just the same.
A mirror image, yeah. It's a mirror image. Aye, and it's like arguing with flat earthers as well. They didn't believe any evidence. You're literally seeing folk looking at pictures and going, "Nah, no, that's not it."
The sun was shining that way, so the ball was probably.
like all these like sort of ways to justify how it couldn't possibly be out. Anyway, right.
Great header for Campbell though. There's 3
Brilliant.
defenders in there. He's on his Todd. He's so good at finding space, and he's so good in the air because he had the other header as well. I know he was nearly. I think he was really jumping for that one, but he's good with his head in general. I still don't think he's going to be top scorer over 18, 19 goals.
18, I think it's yeah. But that's
but
what I said.
still,
Scoring at two goals a game now, like that's
he's
the
well
rate he's
on for-
hitting. So,
and he's well on for a young player of the year, no doubt.
definitely. The one that he had the header that Kasper Schmeichel saved. He got flagged offside there. He wasn't offside either.
So he did. Aye,
that linesman was fucking horrendous because we talked about that shot that Bowie had, and this is a clip I put out on Twitter as well. Boyle picks up the ball and Boyle's in possession. The boy fucking hauls him over, and Celtic get a free kick for it. Now, see if Boyle was shepherding that out for a throw in or a goal kick.
I can't believe that wasn't a foul. Or it was a foul, but it wasn't a foul at Hibs.
Mental.
And the linesman's right there. He's got the best view in the stadium.
Guessed at it. That linesman just fucking guessed. It was mental. So we go 2-0 up, going to half time. Celtic get the goal back. It was a weird fucking goal to concede, Colin, wasn't it? Talk us through the goal that we conceded.
Aye. I'm not really sure what the goalie was doing. Like it was spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ball went up. I think it just got scooped up, didn't it? And it sort of spun to what
the boy missed his shot. He missed a shot. He kicked it off himself. He fucked it right up, and they got lucky with it.
Because he just spun in the air as it landed, and I'm not sure what Smith was thinking.
I think
he never went to it. It was almost like he was thinking it was going to bounce up to him or something. I'm not sure what his thought process was.
I wonder if there was maybe just like a wee miscommunication, or not a miscommunication, maybe like a lack of communication, because it's in a wee bit like in that sort of narrow space. It was almost like no man's land between Rocky and the keeper, and I don't know if one thought the other was maybe going to go and get it.
I'm not blaming Rocky for that one. I've seen it back a couple of times on Sports Scene now, and I think it was much closer to the keeper than it was Rocky. I think the keeper's just got to come and deal with that.
I think they're both out of it. I think the fact the boy's got to take a shot, and it's almost like you brace yourself for the shot. He's fucked it. It's going up in the air and it's spinning. Rocky goes to like almost shepherd it out again. It's like he backs into the whoever the forward was that he was covering. But I think they expected it to drop sort of closer to the byline and then bounce out for a goal kick. And I think Smith's not been ready to come for it. It's fallen short and it's just landed perfectly for Maeda, who's knocked in. Colin, you thought there might have been a foul on the keeper for Maeda, but I have to say I didn't think it was.
I was comparing it with Rocky having a shot and getting a red card check. I thought, I wasn't sure. I thought, well, he's got to the ball, but he followed through and hit the keeper. So don't know. Just consistency.
That was another bizarre moment, that the red card check on Rocky. Like, he's clearly taken a touch and had a swing at it, and they've thought that was a possible red card offence. I cannot fathom how that could like if we become so So I don't know, like how much is VAR and like second views of things like disrupted the game where you think
Mm.
that you can apply a bit of common sense and go, he's a defender trying to take a touch and trying to get a shot away,
But
and that you assume that
I
he
know.
has to be going through the player.
I'm just thinking, how do you shoot with your leg falling past the ball?
Aye.
Like
Aye,
that's what happens. That's how you shoot. You know what I
aye.
mean? But we get bizarre decisions. Look at we got mind that it was just last season. Was it last season? The midweek game down there, they got 2 penalties. We've never ever seen the likes ever again.
Oh, the
Where
chat is head
the
knocking.
fairness, a head knock, which is always
Aye.
the defender's foul. Another one was Newell
Newell.
tackling the guy. Would
When
they
they took 20 minutes to
try to
study
block
VAR.
the shot?
Aye.
Aye, because they were trying to find the decision, and it's like, what are you doing? And that's what it felt like a wee bit. It felt like they're going to find something here. They're going to try and
Mhm.
find something.
Well,
One of
that
the
was it
boys
was.
wrote a blog about VAR being corrupt, by the way.
Aye, as a Hibs fan.
Oh,
No,
I read it.
Celtic fan.
I saw. I didn't read
Corrupt
the whole
VAR.
thing. I didn't read the whole thing, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Matty, was the suggestion not that the VAR is being applied so poorly so that fans kick up enough effort that they have to remove it so that the old refereeing decisions come back in. The implication being,
Really, was that? I never read it. I saw the fucking headline bit, and I was like, "You're fucking joking." I just, Kim, you think back to the VAR decisions that have gone against us when we played them, and you go,
I know.
"Come on."
Making the decision. Mine, Ewan got sent off at Parkhead
for getting fouled.
for getting fouled. The boy had pulled him down, and he got it's fucking mad. Some of the decisions that go, but like we didn't write blogs about it. You know what I mean? It's fucking.
Might make start doing that.
Well, we need to because the Port just won in the cup final as well. These are in the last 4 years.
Aye,
There was about 6 decisions we've just mentioned.
Celtic thought they'd got an equaliser. Obviously, the boy overhit it just a wee bit. He didn't get to it in time. Ball's going out. Linesman's had a guess again. Linesman's guessed. He's guessed wrong.
And he's
Luckily,
got a few wrong in the day, so
yeah,
just had a bad day. They play.
Yes, he's had a really bad day. Luckily, we've got VAR there. VAR, they were able to go and study the footage. They took their time over it, had a look, and they said it's out. So
pretty clear and obvious to me.
aye, and to be fair, like we were saying that I sat up the other end, West Stand, right? We were like, that's out. Before it fucking went out. Yeah, before he's watched it, fucking out, it's out. And then it goes in, and we were like, it was fucking out. We could tell it was out for fucking way up there. Now,
The total opposite end of the stadium.
total opposite. The thing is, it's all about perspective and angles in that. That's what they're telling us.
Right.
You can't tell. Well, I had a great view. A boy tweeted in, I can't remember who it was, that said that he sits at whatever section. He said a great view right along the line. Definitely out, he said. So that's no guessing. That's what they saw. Linesman guessed. He couldn't. You see where he's standing. There's no way he could tell.
Okay, well, guessed. He 100% guessed and guessed wrong again, like he did with the offside with the Boyle free kick. Right,
he's a terrible judge.
But then you've got the funny thing I've seen is folk suggesting we need goal line technology, and you're like, well, the goal line technology covers the bit in between the posts.
Aye, I think the thing about the linesman is do you think, and this maybe contradicts what we were saying earlier, do you think that because he's made an arse of it with the Campbell one, that he's thought, oh fuck, I can't do that a second time, so I'm just going to allow it? And then of course VAR's
you don't know how they're thinking. It'd be interesting to get. It'll be interesting to get his thoughts. I mean, I'm sure when they come out, they're going to have when Willie Collum comes out probably tomorrow because they usually make exceptions for the two. Normally everybody else is going to wait to the Friday if they bother, but with this one they'll be out tomorrow, no doubt. And I'm sure they'll be able to say, look, there's your fucking line there. Like everybody, there's footage there. There's footage out there that's clear. And I know there's Celtic pages snipping it just before the boys hit the ball, which is nearly in, but still close to being out. Get the fucking footy. It's out. It's pretty fucking obvious.
The summer of the ball would have needed to be shaped like a fucking rugby ball for it to still be in. Do you know what I mean?
But they're trying to do that thing they done in the World Cup that time, when the sun's shining on it and the shading still covers the line, and that sky tried today with that fucking squint fucking picture line. It's St Johnstone.
It's just that St Johnstone ball, and thanks to Lex for sharing that picture earlier. That's the fucking nonsense. Like, if you're trying to prove something in a fucking experiment, at least try and do it Easter Road. But no, you've put it on a fucking the shitey McDermott Park pitch.
Aye.
But what was I going to say as well? Like Rogers, his comment, Colin, you were saying there about the goal line technology. Like, I think what he was asking for and what he was suggesting, correct me if I'm wrong here, is that he doesn't believe that that ball's out because there isn't technology that exists that proves that it was out.
Aye.
Therefore,
Because the
the
camera's on the
decision,
18-yard line rather than on the goal line.
therefore the decision must go their way. But the technology that he's asking for doesn't exist in football, to the best of my knowledge. Like I think he did make a comment about technology down south.
I think he's meaning more cameras. So, like, and that's how we get when you go way offsides and we're going up here going, mind Martin Boyle in the semi-final, you're going, he's fucking. It's because they've got one camera, whereas in England they've got a camera maybe every couple of yards or something, so they can get a more accuracy on the lines. I think that's what it means. But the thing is, right, see, if the linesman had done his job there and said that's it, they would have still been moaning. They would have wanted VAR to check it, to check that was, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. They're just really, really bad losers. Like, they can't accept it.
I tell you one thing, see if that ball had crossed the line in between the goals and they hadn't given a goal for it. They'd all be using the exact same fucking images, the exact same. It's over the line. It's over the line. Fucking look at it, cheating bastards. But that's what we would get 100%. So, what we say? Because I think what if I can feel it any more than linesmen got it wrong.
Be in the papers all week about this. Printing Alan Muir's address. They're close to that already. Like, that's where they're going with it. It's outrageous.
VAR checked it. VAR got it right. Goal got disallowed. Fucking correct decision. That's it. End of story.
Yeah. It is bizarre though. It's kind of like reflective of modern society where facts don't matter. It's just how you can make someone feel.
Look at Trump and Musk. It's like that. You just say stuff enough and folks start believing it. That's what it is.
Right. Stevie says, also Bowie ragdolled that defence for the hour he was on the pitch. Truly think we may have a gem in him. He really looks the real deal when Scottish football suits his style. Angus said, Hibs, what a time to be alive. Stevie said, agreed. Mariah Welsh was superb. Angus also said, Bobo, are you watching? Don't know who Bobo is. I don't know Bobo Baldy. I don't care if he stopped watching after we stopped doing short bangers. He was a big fan of short bangers, was Bobo Baldy, but he stopped after we stopped it. Aye, he did. He was never fucking. Some of them were beyond the pale as well, Bobo. By the way, if you're listening, like, I hope you fucking stopped that nonsense. Dan said, was just watched Hibs official post there. The game, top class, back with you now. It seemed more important to watch that again. Ronnie says Miller was excellent yesterday, considering his lack of minutes recently. That's a big point. See, Miller and Mariah Welsh in particular, and you could group Bowie in there as well. Considering how little they've played, their performances were terrific. John, what does it say about the three of them? I
think it's not just the three of them. It's every player that was on the pitch yesterday for Hibs, because you also had Hoylett late in the game, and Abita came on and replaced Mariah Welsh. That was an odd substitution, but I think we needed legs in midfield at that point. And the introduction of Hoylett, I think, provided a wee bit of a calming influence up front, something to get the ball to and try and keep a hold of it and take the pressure off the defence. So I think I mentioned this it was a few weeks ago, and I think it was in regards to Levitt about the players that are coming back into the squad now. So Colin, you mentioned it there with regards to you mentioned it a wee while back with a strong bench. Like, while there's players there that maybe aren't stick-on starters, there are guys that are able to come on and put fresh legs in the pitch, and the quality's not diminished that much.
Yeah.
And I think also the fact that you've got that, like, there's a real cohesion. Colin, Matt, you mentioned about the team being coached really well. Like, there's a lot of things there that throughout a lot of shit, Hibs have managed to. We've not reached the end of the season yet, but we've really come through that really shitty period, and we've obviously had 13 games unbeaten, and had the victory at the weekend there. Like, it's a real squad performance, and it's a real credit to the club, I think, for what for the relative achievement that they've had in turning that around.
Yeah. Do you know what we've not mentioned is the penalty appeal that then turned into the goal line clearance when we were laughing at Rocky's run. What was your thoughts on the penalty appeal, John? Do you think it was valid? Do you think VR even looked at it?
When Miko gets pushed over by Carter Vickers.
Sorry. I was.
You thinking they must have had
I was like, fuck. What was it? A penalty appeal for Campbell's challenge? I think both players were being physical, and if I'm being perfectly honest, like, it was, I thought it was 50. I thought they both were going for it. I don't think it was a penalty. and I know that I might get a few pellets for that. But I think in that sort of situation, like I try and put like a bit of a football head on it and say, like, was there any sort of like clear shove in the back? Has he had his legs taken away from it, or have they both been tussling?
Aye.
And Kaharovic has maybe tried to be a bit clever.
So I think I think the boy is pulling him. He's got his arms. There's the angle for behind the goals. He's actually got his arms round him like that. Kaharovic has made it with the big sort of arms out thing. Probably made the ref think he's making more of it. It's definitely a foul. But if you think of the foul, the penalty Kaharovic got against him with Dundee United, it's much more a penalty than that.
Aye.
So he's probably thinking, well, I need to go down here to make sure the referee's seen this, but I'll be getting the penalty because obviously they gave a penalty against me and sent me off.
And said it was right as well in the VAR review stuff.
Correct.
The passes the Kolac's test, far more fucking contact than that.
Easy.
Because on the ball, says he's about to get a shot away right for about 2 yards out. It's a goal scoring opportunity. There is a bit of grappling, but the player that carries it on is Carter Vickers, and he pushes him over, and there's contact with the feet as well. It's no Miko's problem is the fact that he puts his arm up.
It is.
For it, and if he does, but that shouldn't matter. The referee should be looking at it, or
Of course
VAR
you
should be
shouldn't.
looking at it.
But that's like how Bowie. That's how the boy never got sent off because Bowie didn't make more of the Greg Taylor tackle. Bowie just acted like a man, like not a footballer there, and took the tackle and got up as if to say you'll be sending him off then. But he never made enough of it.
Aye.
Like so, it's finding the balance between getting called a diver and a cheat to making the ref actually look at it.
I think had yesterday's result been different, I might have looked upon that penalty appeal a lot more differently, a lot more harshly. But we came away with 3 points, so I'm not really bothered that much about it. I didn't. But so what you were saying about the Kaharovic penalty done United, I didn't think that was a penalty either. So hopefully, like it comes across as being consistent.
But it just feels sitting here talking, like all the noise obviously is about how hard done they were because they kind of get beat with it being hard done.
Yep.
Even or maybe the other night they were, I can't remember. But all the decisions all the decisions that we're going. What about that? Like wrong offside, penalty, no foul on Boyle. You know what I mean? It's like the possible red card never checked it. Much worse tackle than the red card check.
Carter Vickers should have a yellow card in the first 5-10 minutes. I mean, it's a yellow card every fucking day.
Is that for his challenge on Bowie?
Aye, through the back of him.
I agree.
It's as clear a yellow card as you want, and the cunt's fucking untouchable. And the problem with that is then he's free to go into the other fouls because he can he's still got another couple of fouls in him before the referee will turn in.
So, well, Carter Vickers has got previous for that. Like, mind he pulled down Jasper with the neck at Easter Road, and I think he only got a booking for that, if he even got a booking at all.
So if anybody was hard done
exactly. That goal line clearance for Rocky as well, just before we go back to the talking points, it's fucking incredible. They see on sports, like you say, that sort of bursting a gut to get back, even though he's injured. I mean, how many players would have just fucking went down or used it as an excuse? Rocky just powered through, and what a block it was. No, he wasn't.
He done the goal line one, but then somebody followed that up.
Campbell was brilliant in that as well, because a tap in for whoever the Celtic forward was that was about to knock it in. And this is it's like mind if you would you have run that fast if you were getting chased by a lion? He definitely would have. Like that was Rocky getting chased by a lion to get back, and that's what we're seeing for the Hibs team there. I think that's like a big factor why we're 13 unbeaten. Right, where did we get to? Robert said, better keep it PG tonight for any Celtic fans listening. You might cross the line. Depends what Alan Muir decides. I like that one. Chris said, evening lads, brilliant performance from the team. Can't really remember Celtic creating anything other than that Johnston chance. Huge credit to Mariah Welsh as he really got about the pitch. Stevie said that's the best game Miller has had for us. I'm not his biggest fan, to be honest, but he played well. And sad to see Clement get sacked from San Francisco. He was doing a great job of supplying the laughter. What's the views in the penalties? So we just covered that. He says, hit the like button, folks. Yes, please do. There's 116 watching now, and I think how many likes we've got. So if you could all just please hit the like button for us, that would be very kind of you. Dan said, Glasgow City Bears 0, Paisley Pandas 2. Stevie said, Gray said after the game that all 3 previous games with Celtic, we've been behind early on. It was great to score first for a change. Ronnie says, good point from John about hard to beat. And as the game went on, there was not the nervousness in the stands like there was earlier in the season. McCod Army said, no doubt we'll get shafted by the officials in the forthcoming cup tie. It does add a wee bit extra spice to that one now, doesn't it?
That's right though. That's went through my head. Just imagine what they'll get if we manage to keep them like to 0-0 or something at half time.
Mhm.
Officials will be
Absolutely.
shit scared of them again for a few months.
Well, if Celtic fans are right and the officials are against them, then we should squish that
Aye.
as much as we squished it yesterday.
Mhm. Kerry said, loving the confidence in the team now. You can see they're all playing for the jersey. We need to sign Chantis, and great to see Bowie starting. And Nathan Mariah Welsh and Miller were both outstanding. Love seeing the passion. We've got.
That's a really interesting point. So yesterday I was having a wee think about the recent finances that Hibs released and what they would have. I know that it wouldn't have appeared in the accounts, but if we'd spent £1 million and actually signed Luke McCowan, like I wonder if those like sort of like sliding door moments, like what would have actually happened, like how things would have looked, and I wonder
Mhm.
if we should now be like if we like Triantis and we think he's going to be an asset and he's going to grow and develop, should that money be earmarked for trying to prize him away from Sunderland?
You wonder what Sunderland are thinking, eh? Like they sent a centre half up here that's became like one of the best midfielders in the league.
They'll be delighted, because I mean his value is only going up. Jack C99 said, so happy at yesterday's result. Night Night Rogers, still find it funny Celtic complaining about equaliser being ruled out. It's embarrassing. Just want to say a wee well done to Jack as well. Put up a brilliant wee vlog up as well about his recent sort of mental health issues. So I would recommend you go and check it out. And he hit 500 subscribers as well on his channel as well. So well done, Jack, mate. Very proud of you. Right, we'll get some blue sky talking points to run through as well. Green Tea said, hope Nathan Mariah Welsh gets more game time. Had an excellent game. Josh Campbell must have eaten a few Duracell batteries. Colin, right, Nathan Mariah Welsh, is that him playing his way into a starting position consistently?
No, no. I'm not being harsh against them. Like you do wonder where he's been though, right? Like why he's not being getting picked. But we've got Newell back on the bench, and Manny's only suspended for one game. You know what I mean? He's back. Unfortunately, no, he's not.
Okay. John, what about you? Do you think he done enough for it?
He's maybe, I don't know. I saw a post on Hibs.net and it was talking about the sort of like pecking order for the midfielders and where Mariah Welsh might find himself now. I think the poster had put Quan at the bottom of the list, and I don't think based on recent performances that's unfair. Um, I don't. Mariah Welsh played brilliantly yesterday for the 70 minutes that he was on the pitch, but I think he might be a player that would be best used for specific games. So getting more into that sort of like horses for courses narrative that David Gray was talking about earlier in the season, because as Colin mentions there, you've got Manny to come back in, you've got Joe Newell, club captain, to come back in. But he definitely gives Gray a headache. And I think if nothing else yesterday, like I'd suggested getting him in the side for a bit of stamina in midfield. But I think with that pass and some other games, like I think he's got close control and I think he moves the ball quickly as well. So I think he's definitely a really good asset to have. But the challenge obviously now is, well, you've got that really good asset. Like where does he actually play, especially when you've got other starters ahead of him?
Could he potentially be a long-term replacement for Channis if we can't get in? But we spent the season watching him and sort of mirroring how he plays. So I thought his performance yesterday was very Chantis-like.
Do you think so?
I thought the way he kind of got about the pitch and was picking up wee loose balls, and I tell you what I noticed about him. There's a couple of times where he made tackles without diving in. You know, he was able to just kind of go and steal the ball,
Yeah.
and then move it on, which is like a real skill to do in midfield because you didn't want to be diving into tackles because you leave yourself open to yellow cards and giving away free kicks. But I thought he was brilliant yesterday.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility because as Colin mentioned there about Sunderland and Janus, like the centre half up here, like we've seen him develop into that role because he's been getting game time. So there's nothing to suggest that Mariah Welsh couldn't do the same. I think it would be a slightly different Janus, but it could be. And obviously he's our player as well. He's not a lone player that we need to concern ourselves about the future of.
St Christopher said Campbell knew the outcome of VAR calls before the ref announced them. Is there anything he cannot do? He did know that.
Noticed that. Yeah.
Aye. Do you think he could? You know how sometimes you can hear somebody listening to headphones and that you can hear the wee voice in the ears. I think he's like just close enough that he could pick it up.
Because funnily enough, I was talking to my brother-in-law earlier, and his uncle is a big Celtic fan, goes to all the games and that. And my wife overheard what her uncle called her brother, which was a cunt after the after the game yesterday. So that did come out the headphones. Yeah.
It was good because Campbell gave away those wee clues for the rest of us watching. You know, like we're kind of trying to figure out what's going on as happens at the
He
game.
must
So you
be
didn't really care
maybe
about the
getting
VAR.
lucky, or
Maybe.
as well, or maybe the referee's actually saying it.
Maybe it's just the case that Josh Campbell just does whatever the fuck he wants.
Aye, I'll decide. I'll tell you.
Aye.
It's a fucking goal.
Craig Megan said, I'm a Miller and O'Hora doubter, but I thought they both had the best games ever for us today. Bowie is excellent. Can't wait to see him start more. But I'd like to pick out Mariah Welsh. To hardly have played and be that energetic, confident, and tight in the ball. He was fantastic. I tell you what I noticed about Mariah Welsh is at the end of the game where they put Sunshine and Leith on. He was absolutely fucking loving it. In fact, that whole moment with the team, how did you feel about it? There was a wee bit of criticism for some other fans that we were doing it. Obviously, there's context there. It wasn't just because we beat Celtic. It was marking the memory of Ron Gordon's passing as well. So it wasn't just like we beat Celtic, get the scarves up. What do you think of the scenes at the end?
I don't think there really needs to be anything more said than that. Like it wasn't just let's chuck it on because we beat Celtic because it's a big thing. Like no, there was a particular reason why it was played because it was 2 years since the passing of Ron Gordon. So if you cannot pick up on the context and the nuance of situations, then maybe you didn't get involved in the conversation.
And after that, Colin?
No, because that is it. We spoke before a game. Was it the Rangers game? Where we said, do you think we'll play Sunshine and Leith if we win? And John was like, no. Derby wins. Cup finals. That's it. And then it came on yesterday. But obviously there's context. It's almost 2 years to the day, or it was 2 years to the week. I can't remember exactly.
Was it last year did we have the game against Rangers where
yeah.
Aye. So no.
I thought it was some brilliant footage on Hibs Twitter. I think Lewis Forfer had filmed it, and it is brilliant. If you do a screen grab at just the right point, you've got like the whole team lined up at the backs, facing the backs to the camera, but they're all facing the east stand. It's a terrific desktop for you if you're in the market for a new desktop for your laptop or your phone. I thought it was very fit, and I was glad we did it. And I thought, again, go back to the point that folk have made about the team spirit, and that very reflective of a team that's very bonded and together.
You see Campbell celebrating winning the throw-in at the end as well. Just like
that was time up then. Aye.
Mm-hmm.
That was a thing. The fucking referee overruled the linesman. Kim, we're talking about like wee things in games, right? So folk think you're fucking mental when you go. When you were talking about it, Colin, with Alan Freeland game, but the wee things, right? In injury time, so you've got 8 minutes fucking injury time as well. Fuck off with 8 minutes injury time. There wasn't 8 minutes worth of fucking.
You guessed 9 though, to be fair.
But that's because I was like picking out a daft number to go.
Because you knew about Celtic, they need to win.
Because they did the same at Ibrox as well. Like they got it as well because they were fucking behind. Again, SFA against them. Like go through all the other games, like St Johnstone, Hearts today. There was VAR checks and all the rest of it. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, standard. Like I think we had 4 minutes at St Mirren last week, maybe.
We were early about 6 max. That's
it. It's an outlier. Celtic behind 8 minutes that they put up on the fucking board. Now, in that 8 minutes, linesman gives us a throw in. Clearly, Hibs throw in, and the referee overrules them to give Celtic the throw in, so they get another chance to attack. The other thing he does, we were quite good at getting the ball up into the corners, and then I think it was Campbell maybe and Hoylett just fucking booted their player. Like yellow cards, both of them, definite yellow cards. While we're getting booked, Celtic did a quick free kick, and the referee let it go. Now, every time a referee books a player and somebody tries to take a free kick, they
blow it back.
Blow it back. I'm still fucking doing my admin.
I'm writing his number in my wee book.
Aye. Then I've got my jotted out, so you can't take the free kick yet. No, then.
To be fair to Stevie, right? Stevie cup final winning referee.
Aye.
He is thinking, fuck, the wife's asked me to go to Tesco after the game, right? And he just ends he's not going to get out of there.
I'll never be able to do it.
Yeah.
He's not never brought his disguise, mum. Anyway, right, Roboito said, with the Huns in free fall with second still on, I had a look at it. Rangers are still uncatchable, I think. And I think we'll still struggle to catch Aberdeen. I think they look like I think they've turned the corner again, eh? I think we
Good
look
play,
like...
no?
Aye.
Well, that's the thing about the coming games is Celtic play Aberdeen midweek.
They do. We could be doing
And
one
do
point
they?
midweek.
So this
Yeah.
it's a
Oh,
it's,
I'll take
it's-
that back then.
this is a
Celtic's
big
going to get some decisions midweek. Like,
Oh, fucking right. Poor Aberdeen, eh? They're going to get tight.
it's a big game midweek. I know they're all big games, but this is a big game.
Gillian said Hibs players were absolutely brilliant and deserved the win. Couldn't fault any one of them. Campbell, man of the match for me. Well done, lads. And Sir David Gray and Sunshine on Leith at the end with the 5 wee green heart emojis. Barry said cracking performance against 12 men. I think it's 14 men. Defensively superb again. Vickers will be having nightmares about Bowie tonight. Campbell really good. Covered every blade of grass. He's finally fulfilling his potential and bringing consistency to his game. Enjoying my pints tonight. The Real Can said Rogers complaining to the ref at full time is next level for me. Hope the Scottish media will highlight the ref's incompetence and praise our 13-game unbeaten run. Richard Cobb said if you could do the same in the cup, please, that would be grand. WW said regret golfing. Shite round as well, but this has lifted the mood. We've spoken about this before. How good is a result like that for your mood? For we'll be at least until Wednesday. When
Until
there
about
is a risk of
7:44.
that mood
Wednesday
could
night.
very quickly come crashing back down to earth. But it's fucking brilliant, isn't it? Like what
it's
it does
great
for
with
the
the
weekend.
optimism because none of us were. I don't think on a Friday any of us claimed we would get hammered or anything. I think when I said 1-0, maybe sneak it by a goal. John, you definitely said win by the odd goal. I can't remember. He was in this maybe similar to me. So I think we all kind of secretly sort of thought we're all right. They're maybe tiring or leggy or anticlimactic for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? They've got nothing. They've got a couple of cup games to play in, or one hopefully. But that's all they've got to look forward to after they sort of capitulated in the last minute midweek. So it's it was a good time to get them, and I think we kind of fancied it, but we've been there before, eh? And then we let ourselves down and whenever this time. So it was quite nice for to see it actually happen.
And that's the flip side, isn't it? Like you get that performance and you start thinking about the cup and you also start thinking about the rest of the league because that's just given us that platform, if you like, to try and capitalise on it midweek. And there's no guarantees like that. Unbeaten run will definitely come to an end one day. Hopefully, it's far in the future.
It's Wednesday night, isn't it? Dundee United. That's massive. And I know, John, it's a kind of a running joke we have, but it's a proper 6-pointer again because we jumped them for 4th place and we got a point behind Aberdeen, assuming that Celtic get their decisions on Tuesday night. And then we were a point behind 3rd and sitting 4th on goal difference, I think, if we win on. So it's massive on Wednesday night. And it would definitely be stopping talking or we've got to make top 6, I think. I think we would be.
I think if we win that one, I think we can probably
stretching away from Motherwell's and that were the teams that we were thinking. Hearts will make the top 6 now, I think, as well, and it'll be Dundee United and Aberdeen.
It's the league's mad. Is what's mad about it is that we've had that 13-game run, and we're still I'm still not confident that we'll be top 6 because the next games are going to be so tight. I think I agree with you. If we win on Wednesday, it makes a difference. And the other thing is, we saw after we won the derby, I think we won the next again match because we have that one you always you win the big game and then we fuck up the next one. Actually, this team has probably told a different or set a different narrative now since we've started that run.
Yeah.
How fair do you think it would be to say that the team want to excel? Like they want to go on and get 4th place, they want to go and get 3rd place because they've had that 13-game unbeaten run now, and with that comes an associated pressure and an associated expectation, and they keep going and rising to it. So there has to be something about them that wants to go and take it to that next level.
I think you can see it. It's folk will not want to give credit to the people who did the recruitment in the summer, right? Now, we kind of context behind it and all the rest, right? And I'll stand by what I said as well, right? Is I think how much impact they have because, so I'm talking specifically Malcolm Mackay, right? And David Marshall was involved in recruitment as well. We kind of joked about the players that we brought in, kind of like the right back's twin brother and the goalkeeping coach's pal for Aberdeen. and we had the story about them getting in the right characters, or even like Chantis. Like I was very dismissive of the signing of Chantis. I'm quite happy we fucking wrong on that, but I couldn't get my head around why we did it based on his performances last season. And I'm glad we did. I'm glad I'm wrong. But the stuff that the team talked about, like Mackay, David Gray, about getting the right characters in, now you have to say that that's what we're seeing. The team's character is shining through.
It's like a team moulded though, but David Gray. It's like they're quiet about it. They just go into their job. They're better than the sort of some of their parts. You know what I mean?
So I think there's a huge amount of credit needs to go to the guys that built that team and David Gray and his coaching team again. Who I questioned whether I questioned the process to get them in. I didn't care if it was the right one. Never ever questioned their coaching credentials. I think I was really clear about that. So I didn't care if they're good coaches or no. I think they've all done a great job. I think it's shining through on the pitch now, despite a very, very shaky start.
And one of them being a goalie.
One of them being a goalie. Right, where have we got to with these talk points? So we're nearly out of time, so I'll just look at a couple more. And I think what we'll probably have to do is take some of these into extra time. The moment when we record that for our subscribers. So if you didn't already subscribe, get yourselves onto our Patreon or click on the wee join this channel button on your YouTube.
And if you think the ball was out, hit like.
Yes, that's what great way to judge it. If you think the ball was out and Celtic are making a big fucking fuss about that, hit the like button. Right, Lex Loafer said, superb from the Hibs, much deserved. Even if the officials did everything they could to deny us, that Boyle foul in the first half, the offside decision for the second goal, and the red card check, Jesus wept. Never mind the blatant outward play ball for the second goal. That linesman was a joke. Jeff said, our first goal was a thing of beauty, like a knife through butter. Hibs support really engaged for the whole 98 minutes, and a fitting rendition of Sunshine and Leith on Big Ron's anniversary. Question, how the fuck has Quan been picked ahead of Nathan Mariah Welsh recently? And only criticism would be Smith for both their goals. He only scored one goal, Jeff. It is a mystery. Like I mean that the Quan and Mariah Welsh, you can only imagine what must be happening in training for them getting picked ahead of him. But
it must be something in training. It's mad as well because I think it was Callum on the phone in. I wasn't on it obviously last week, but I think he said, and he's not even he played against St Mirren, but then he's not even available the next week. So why would you not just have played?
I wonder if it's a cost thing. I wonder if we pay more if he doesn't play because he's a lone player. Can some loans will have that kind of clause written into them?
Could it be a height thing? Because we're a tall team and Quan's taller than Mariah Welsh.
Yeah.
Sean said, superb from all. Smith shite for their goal. Thought Nathan Mariah Welsh showed quality never seen before. Kieran Bowie Barry, Martin Boyle Pest, Nectar Tiantris is Rodri, Josh Campbell Lampard. Ball over the line. Rocky goal and clearance. Best run since 78. Official. Jam Tarts cannot be above us before the derby, despite possible predictions in extra time this week. This is also good news as well because that could have happened. Could have, if we'd got beaten because they won.
Aye, well, they would have been a point within a point.
Aye,
depending
on what happens on Wednesday, but that can't happen now. They will continue to be in our shadow below us. CR 1875 said, "Could Hibs let me finish my pie before scoring next time, please?" Andrew Brown's a great performance. Got at them from the off. Thoroughly deserved to win. What a difference having Bowie in from the start. Made some shift from everyone. And AKA Rab said the ref was trying his hardest to make it go Celtic's way, but fuck me, what a win. Right, that's probably a good place to leave it. Hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, guys. Been fucking good fun recording it. Absolutely buzzing after a win like that. Full credit to the team. We will be back with extra time tomorrow. We'll continue.
And all the best to the referees. Look after yourself.
Aye, that's it. Take care. Be safe. Get one of those mirror things for looking under your cam before you turn the ignition. Have a good check because they will be fucking after you. And didn't post anything about it on Twitter for fuck's sake. As we found out. Right, thanks for tuning in, folks. Go and subscribe, and we will see you all next time.